My name is Edgar Poureshagh, and I'm the owner and sommelier at 320 Wine Lounge in Los Angeles, California. Today we're going to make a baked beer chicken. So the first thing we're going to need is some garlic. So we're going to break open our clove and take about 5 or 6 good-sized cloves. Perfect. So the best way to open up a clove of sealed garlic is to put your knife across it and press down with your hand. It separates the skin and allows you to peel it much easier. Next we're going to take an onion. We want to do a rough chop because really this is more about the flavor of the onion instead of the presentation of it. Now when you cut an onion, you always want to curl your fingers because you don't want to get them in trouble. So the best way to cut is by curling. So once we're done with the onions, we're going to want to get the juice of lemons. So I've got 3 lemons here. I'm just going to cut them in half. Now the best way to squeeze a lemon without getting too many seeds in the bowl is to actually squeeze it into your hand. Your fingers will catch all the seeds and you won't have to deal with them in your marinade. So once we have the juice for lemons, time to introduce the chicken. So this recipe works best for drumsticks. I have drumlets here, which are a little bit smaller. Sometimes you'll see them in wing recipes, but I think it's great because this is it's a social type of recipe. You can use this for parties, you can use this for entertaining, and it's kind of fun at home for kids too, because the alcohol will basically cook off of the beer, so you can use it. So we're going to include the ingredients. We're going to take a sprig of rosemary, throw it into the Ziploc bag, the onions, the garlic, the lemon juice, and a healthy dose of salt, some cracked pepper, olive oil. This will help us coat, and then later on when it's cooking, it'll keep it from sticking to the pan. So we'll want a healthy drizzle, about 1/3 of a cup. And the best part about this recipe is that we get to use beer in it. So I'm using a pale ale because I like the depth and the nuttiness of ale, maybe a little bit more than Pilsner. Now if you like darker beers, feel free to go darker here. But I think pale ale is a great way to go. So when we pour the beer, it is going to froth a little bit, but don't worry, it shouldn't exceed the Ziploc if you're using a large Ziploc bag. So we're going to let the carbonation die out a little bit, and then we are going to, with our hands, mix the ingredients together. Now I haven't sealed the bag yet because beer is heavily carbonated, and if we do, the gas will just expand and then it'll create air in the bag. And we want to keep as much air of it out when we're marinating. So now we're going to seal it, but by sealing it, you're going to want to remove all the air. So if you fold it against itself, it'll naturally push out all the air, and then you can seal your refrigerator bag. And there's very little air left in it. You're going to have to check in it because of the carbonation, but we're going to want this to marinate for at least about 1 hour to 2 hours to really get that beer incorporated into the chicken flavor. So now we have our marinated chicken. And it's actually ready to go. We're actually just going to remove the chicken from the bag without getting too much of the beer and juices. And we're going to put it on the pan. We're going to leave out the rosemary. But everything else, the onions, the chicken, should go nicely here. So now the important thing is we want it evenly spaced on this sheet pan. It allows for the air to circulate and for the skin to cook evenly and the chicken to cook thoroughly. I've lined the pan with foil to make it easy to clean, and we've set a rack on top that'll keep the air circulating, and it'll also remove the oil. It'll keep it from being too unhealthy. So into the oven it goes. We cook thoroughly, and then put the broiler on so that it browns the skin on top, and it should be delicious. So we finished baking the chicken. It took about 15 minutes at 350 degrees, and then we turned the broiler on and broiled both sides. Now we're using drumlets. If you're using full-size drumsticks, you want to cook them a little bit longer, about 10 minutes longer, and make sure they are fully crisped by the broiler. So now we're going to take rosemary and just dress the side of the plates, and then take our chicken. So this would go great with quinoa, baked potato, baked fries in the oven, and even some brown rice. And there we are. I'm Edgar Poureshagh, and this is Baked Beer Chicken.